Please note that the following views and the opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily the views nor the opinions of the Master Force Group, Free America Radio Network, our sponsors, our partners, YouTube.com, and Premier and Take Two. Please note that the following views and the opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily the views nor the opinions of the Master Force Group, Free America Radio Network, YouTube.com, our sponsors, our partners, and MFG is a private society, and nothing here is ever to be construed as hate, medical, nor legal advice. And listen to the Forbidden History prime time 7 days a week right here on the realpublicradio.net, because hidden beneath the sands of time lies the greatest of all mysteries. It's the Forbidden History. Unearth for yourself the secret truths that lie hidden just beneath the surface below our feet. What is that the powers that be do not want you or I to know? Come with us as we explore and dare to know, because it's all right here, coming your way 7 days a week on the realpublicradio.net, Free America Radio Network. Now stand by for Ask Dezert-Owl on the Forbidden History series, what they did want you to know, that we tell right here.
Okay, welcome to the Forbidden History series. This is Ask Dezert-Owl on the Forbidden History series. I'm NinjaCat and welcome. G'day Lynn and Rhett and who else did I see? Kev and Join the Dots, and I don't want to miss anybody, and Shermanator. I haven't met you before, I don't think. But it looks like you're a friend of Lynn's, so all is good. Welcome. Welcome, everybody. I'd like to welcome any new listeners. This is a live call in program. We encourage people to call in with questions. If you don't want to call in, you're welcome to put your question in the chat. We just ask that you type Desert, Dezert, in capital letters, and the word question in capital letters, and put your question in lowercase, just so that it's noticeable for us to see. And the call-in number is at the top of the chat. It's 608 566 7295. 608 566 7295. Or you're also welcome to call in on Skype. Just Skype NinjaCat, one word, and it's a white circle with a purple NinjaCat with a sword in it. Okay, so welcome, and let's do this. In essence, Desert discusses the history of the world and how the unseen hand has been running it from the very beginning of recorded history. Who they are and how they have founded all of the first great civilizations that are found all around the world, about who the giants really were, and the ancient Aryan caste and slave systems, the priesthoods, the anti-gravity V-manners, the Earth-based misnomered UFOs, which are all man-made, the control of all forms of communications, commerce, religion, mass media, pseudo-politics, etc. It is the grand deception that is used to control all of mankind, and all instituted through the four main religions of the world in particular, and used as their grand cover. Their cybercode has been revealed to him because he has become adept within the study of the ancient alphabets, communications, symbolism, religion, custom, law, cosmology, and mythology, not to mention the fallacy of today's political science and pseudoscience in particular. He can also define the true nature of their warfare, their shell game of bringing one civilization up for their temporary use and then taking it down for the next 500-year generational cycle, as symbolized by the classical burning up of the phoenix. Desert discusses the ultimate in mind control and ancient art and the financial control, the secret societies and their blood occult rituals, and how they wage all wars throughout all time, through the nations that they have created, which are all imaginations, plantations, and mere corporations. They have taken blood oaths to surrender their self-will and mind to their blind goddess, who has demanded our blood from the very beginning of time. They communicate to their minions through the movies, TV, print media, and religion, while he can see, read, and interpret most all of it based on the ancient communication and symbol. It all says that they are using us for our ingenuity, for our collective constructive labour, for experimentation, and in the end they intend to kill us all. They have given us full notice of what they are doing and what they fully intend to do, while all of the general population, the sheeple, they merely go there to be entertained. The New World Order is the Old World Order from the very beginning of recorded history. There is a major cosmic natural disaster that is about to happen on Earth, and they know it because they have engineered all of it, while they are cleverly leaving us in the dark. Hence the reason that they have built hundreds of underground bases all around the world, while they are leaving all of the people to remain unprepared, uninformed, and above ground, so that when it all comes, the mere 5% who will survive above ground will die from the weaknesses and disease that has been generated from all of the poisons that they have been feeding us, from the chemical aerosol spraying of our sky, to fluoride in the water, to tainted vaccines, to fake food, etc., etc. They have enslaved us all at birth by the clever means of deception, because we most all are their cattle, chattel, property, and because they merely wanted to harness our labour, what they always needed, which is what backs most of the world's currency through the birth certificate, a Wall Street security. But they are all through with us now, as it is written in stone, as it can be seen written in the Georgia Guidestones. It says we are a virus upon the earth. To know the truth is to be empowered and to be prepared. We may not be able to stop what has been done and what is about to happen, but the innocent and decent people on planet Earth deserve to know. And now, here's Dezert-Owl.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Ask Dezert-Owl on the Forbidden History series. What they did want you to know that we tell right here, because somebody's got to do it, and I'm just a glutton for that kind of punishment. And yes, I have been punished for a long time now. But in the process of persecution, there is a great wake up. And if, or as I have said to many of my friends, in particular Christians, dealing with the Christian issue, if you're not being persecuted, then you must be doing something wrong, because it seems to go with the territory very well when you pierce the veil and you get to a place where it seems that nobody ever is, and it's quite an enigma. But that's the great mind control on our planet that we're having to deal with. And so, want to welcome our new friends. I see Shermanator Osborne on our channel, so I want to welcome you, and anyone else new that's listening in here today. Want to mention an important channel that people need to go check out, and that's Join the Dots. Okay, I've been watching her videos for the last couple weeks now, and actually I'm amazed at the talent that people have on putting graphics and video together. I don't do any of that. That's not my my league. I have done some of it on my original channel, which is what is my channel? The Forbidden History series. That one I got locked out of, and so it's still there. You can go check it out. I did all those graphics, as I remember. So I did, but then because when something can happen, it will happen, and it did happen, and so yeah, and the bad guys find ways to do their damage, and so I just got fed up and said, all right, I'm not doing it anymore. Then Ninja comes along and says, well, I'll carry the ball for you. So so as they say, the rest is history, and some of it is forbidden history, and it's right here. So yeah, check out Join the Dots, because that is a very special channel that is being persecuted. So you know what I mean, that if they're not letting her do her broadcast, then she must be politically incorrect and just saying all the right things. And so congratulations for joining the League of the Persecuted. Join and being here with us as well. We sure appreciate your interaction with us. And continuing, I'm not going to be long-winded here, because I don't have an itinerary to do at the beginning. So we're going to get to our read, but I just want to do a few words, and I want to answer a few questions that were lingering still. And I saw, Rhett, you have a question up there, but I had a follow-up for first, and it was because you had asked a question, and I kind of try to cover so much ground. Sometimes I don't actually answer the specific question. I was in 10 different directions that were related to it, but then I realized, well, maybe I didn't. But it was about the and Rhett is in Nebraska, by the way. I believe he said he's in the panhandle of Nebraska. Lived there, by the way, and pretty cold in Nebraska. Super tundra. I wouldn't want to live there, but I did one winter there. So where did the megalithic structures come from? And I know I addressed the issue, but I realized I didn't hit it right, in the bullseye to at the direct question, because I talked about the people, the fallen Aryan race, the Watchers, the offspring of Adam and Eve and Keva, and and how they took the knowledge with them to enslave mankind, and then they built these great megalithic structures. So it's called a one world civilization. I have a book on the shelf over there. I told my my friend Steven, who did mindcontrolinamerica.com and the two all-time classics, and Wake Up on Money as well, two all-time classics. But I said, Stephen, I know that the world's being run by the unseen hand out of India. Can you ask your friends from India and see what, if they got a book that they could refer me to? And then actually he did, and it was Stephen Knapp. Stephen Knapp, and it is. Am I gonna have to run over there to that shelf? I can't see it. It is. The Vedic cultures. Okay, let me go grab the book because now I can't get it. Ninja, just whistle or something.
Okay, so I'm just going to
back.
Wait for Desert to come back.
Thank you very much. All right, so when you make dead air on a broadcast, that's you causing that, and that's like death because you don't have silence on a program. But anyway, we do it all on a song, a wing, and a prayer, and you're our prayer, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you for being here. If you weren't there, I wouldn't be here. But the question is, if I weren't here, would you be here? Think about it. Okay, and so it's Vedic cultures. Global existence, Vedic culture's global existence, and in there he was showing how all the words were connected around the world with all these pyramid civilizations. That this Indo-Germanic that I'm talking about, the Indo-Germanic mother tongue, is connected with all these megalithic structures. But the thing is that these are megalithic structures, and they had giants back then. And in fact, I did a rough translation out of the Mahabharata, and in there, because I could see they were translating it in the 1800s, but they were doing it in a way that you couldn't properly interpret it. And in there, it said that basic bottom line is that they flew in their anti-gravity craft, in the big craft, they flew giants around the world, and that they also used these giants to help in the construction of these megalithic structures. So it's a one world pyramid civilization. The headquarters, the front office, like, the Vatican's the front office today for them. But back then it was Meitzar, which is the original word for the pseudonym, which is a false modern day creation called Egypt. It was always known as Meitzar. And Zar is a star, and May is the mother light that came down, Meitzar. And so those are the straight pyramids. Then when you go around the world, you see all these different types of pyramids. That's because they wanted each culture to look unique and specifically different, so that maybe nobody could make the connection, But when you go to India, you see the most intricate stonework of any other civilization on the world, which shows that they are the masters in India. And that's where that was their secret office, where they then ruled the world, and they still do today. Notice that in the White House. The White House, by the way, is a design of an Indian wealthy home. Okay, that's the design of the White House in D.C. goes back to India, and now look who we have in there in the last election in our history, basically, right? This is sure we're not going to be here 4 years from now. If we are, we'll be in a gulag and somebody will be underground. But with the decimation of our planet that's happening right now, and so who's the vice president? Oh, a woman from India. That which is first is like that which is last. That which is last is like that which is first. And I've been talking about this a long time, and how it just keeps. And you've been hearing me talk about it, right, Ninja? The Hindu, right? The Aryan, Brahmin,
yes.
Sovereign priesthood, and there now what do we see, right? You come on. I couldn't have pegged it better, right? The woman from India, right?
Yes.
The woman, the Eastern Star. The Eastern Star. Yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, that's where Confucius said, signs and symbols rule the world, not words nor law. And so I wanted to just add that little splice there, Red, because that was the part I didn't, talk about. I talked about who these people were, but not specific direct on with that question. So I hope that helps you out a little bit. And you've got to see patterns. And, I watch a lot of documentaries. In fact, to me, looking at the graphics is sometimes more important than listening to the words that they're talking about on the documentary. I want to see with my own eyes. As they say, a picture's worth 1,000 words. And then one more thing here is on the beast, because I know we talked about the beast. I think it was with you, and that this thing about the 666 in Revelations, was it 12:13 or somewhere around there, and that it said here's the number of the beast. But notice the word beast is you bet, Brett. And the beast is, let me put a forward slash on that, EAST. EAST. Okay, so, and you'll notice if you go back and listen to these broadcasts, they take out some of my word explanations, ladies and gentlemen. They figured out every trick to mess with people, you know. And so, like my definition for Kev, they took it out. You know, my example of Kev's name, and now I don't know where I put. Oh, there it is. So I said, Kev, I'll just put it back in for the sake of doing it. Then we'll talk about beast again. But Kev, we'll see if they take it out again. That's pretty amazing how they, you know, now you know who the who's Jews are, don't you? When they're doing all these games, who do you think does these type of games? Those who control the media. Who controls the media? We already talked about that, didn't we? I think so. I'm typing here, KHAV, and that is the will of STAR. Okay, so there's Kev is Kav, and Kaf. You can hear the word Kaf in there as well, and that means the cup that's holding something. But and so the will of the star. The AV is the star. That's the beginning of the alphabet. Those are the first two original letters of the alphabet, AV, not AB. And so east is really would be like this, VEAST. Oh, Vest, but it's vest. In other words, it's not the way how we spell vest today, VEST, I think, right? But you see, it's the same word, and the vest is the, okay, which is the, and hold back on typing right now until I get through these words, if you would. That way they can run together. Thank you. And so bra east, you see bra east is the breast. Well, so bra, as we all know, means support for the woman. And so the east, you see everything goes back to the east. And so when they're saying this, beast, it's a slam, just like I've showed with the other words that they give us, you know. So in other words, it's established fact that 666 is not in Revelations. And so when they say, and it is the number of a man, well, the number of man is 6, you see, but 666 is the prime creation. Everything happens in threes, right? And so it is the sun, a star, you see. And remember, I told you 66 is Earth. Okay, so what they're doing, remember Route 66, of going across the land from one side of the continent to the other. Phillips 66, they pull the petroleum out of the ground, 66, the Earth. Okay, and so it's like progressional, right? The prime element is the sun, 666. The secondary element is the Earth, 66. The primary entity on the Earth, number 6. 6 foot tall man at the ideal state, okay? But certainly we're all different sizes. So it's not hard to see that. So when they're saying, and this is the number of the beast, because they said it was a number of a man, and if it was a number of man, it'd be number 6. But instead, King James put in there 666, meaning the sun. They're saying that the sun is the beast. You get the picture? The sun is the beast, because they hate the light, they hate the Father. That's why they call themselves the widow's sons. Okay, and they hate, so they do all, like just the word, you know, we've talked about other words, so I'll give you a couple backups now. Toilet, right? Toilet means, as a toy sounds, means pretend, and then lit is light. So literally, toilet means pretend light. Remember, I talked about the cow the other day, and I said that they're making us out to be cows. And so, what does the cow do when it has to? Well, it brings forth the manure, but the manure is the original word for light. It's not menorah, it's a silent A. It's a consonant. The first letter of the alphabet, A, is a consonant. Then there's another A, and it's a vowel, and that's why Aaron has two A's. It's not pronounced Ron, it's Aaron. One A is silent, you see? And so I could go on because there's a whole series. I thought you said I was screaming and shouting, Ninja. Screen shouting. What's this? Screen shouting? SHOTT shotting? Oh, you're screenshotting. Thank you very much. Okay, and so I just wanted to add that because I know we went there for some reason. I can't quite remember now, but I'm trying to review as much as I can on the broadcast to make sure I don't miss anybody's questions, because I'm grateful for your time that you come by, and I don't want to be as if I'm ignoring anyone. When I get to talking, sometimes I miss them though. Okay, so it's not in Revelation. Same with what's the other thing not in in our script? Oh, Lucifer, also not in our scriptures, put there by King James. And this is why they turned into a sacred icon, idol, the book of the King James version, because it's their code book. There's more in there. I could go there, but not today. And so, talking about all these denigrative terms, listen to this. I was reading today, and Red, I hope I covered those bases for you real well, and we can always do follow-up. And we, by the way, the Watchers, if you want to learn about the Watchers, just go to the Cosmic Essence. All right, the Cosmic Essence. That's the channel that Ninja had created and did all that artwork there. And there's her link right there on the chat. So just feel free to go there. And there's we've covered topics. She sliced from the longer programs, just specifically my presentation, and we may do that with some of these longer presentations if we find the time, because we're ramping up a bunch of stuff right now, and trying to get our books published as well on Lulu. And you bet, Rhett, my pleasure. And so I was doing my translation on the Gospel of the Silk Road today, and I was looking up a certain word. I don't remember which word I was looking at, but in the other column I saw another word, and it was Papa, and that's what they call the Pope, right? The Papa. We have another Papa. The black smoke goes through the chimney, and then they got another Papa. And so you'd never guess. You would never guess, because we think of it as meaning father, right? Papa. Okay, Rhett, great. And maybe that'll create some questions for you. Just write them down as you go, and we can take them one at a time, bro. All right? Forgive me. I need to mute out when I drink, but I just I'm too slow anymore. Anyway, Papa. Oh my. This is Hinduism. It comes from the Sanskrit, and in Hinduism, get ready. Papa means evil, sin, misfortune, adharma, which means add harm. Add harm. Right? Let me say that. This is worth saying twice, okay? Papa in Sanskrit means, in Hinduism, evil, sin, misfortune, and add harm. We have a Papa. Shall we not bow down and worship the Papa of evil, sin, misfortune, and harm? Doesn't it make sense, ladies and gentlemen? I mean, does it not make sense? Knowing what we know. They burned people at the stake for how many years, right? How many? About 5 million, 10 million in Europe? Lost count, didn't we? Yeah, Papa. Sickening, isn't it? Sickening. And that's why they created Peter, because it has to do, there's a slang right there, right? And if you can get the picture. But it then also is in reference to the phallus, which is the obelisk, and so because Peter is really Kefe, and Kefe means the Fe with the keys, or the fiery keys of the woman, meaning of the virgin light, the sun, the Kefe. That's what Peter was holding as being the leader of the followers after Yahshuah was taken up. Okay, and one more quick symbol, because I want to get these cards out of the way. I've got the answers for Anna coming up. I want to go a little further to help her out in her journey. And I created light before this presentation because life is important, ladies and gentlemen. You know that your life is important and life is sacred. And so I, nobody has the ability to go through the journey that I went through and have the benefit of the sacrifice of time that I made so I could read and study and climb mountains, go on a vision quest, all the things that I did, to be able to receive this deeper, what I call the pantation, the deeper breathing of what is supposed to be right in front of us and handed to us in a book so that we could read for ourselves, but instead has been corrupted. And so I hope that you can see and read it for yourself, which you read that word "behold," which is a code word for another meaning, which is you must see and read it for yourself. I hope that ultimately by getting some of the key influences here and getting the picture of what the code is, and it's right in our face, and you'll start seeing it in the words because you're being woke up to it, then you'll be able to see and read it for yourself, and you won't need me anymore because Yahshuah is your tree of knowledge. He's your guide, and I'm a supplement. I'm just here to kickstart and show people how to read essentially for the first time. That's what the problem is, that when we went to school, they never taught us how to read because they told us what it meant and it meant something else. So it's called brainwashing, right? And getting you on the left side of the brain instead of the right side of the brain, where all the artistic and the free-flowing freedom, free thought happens, and instead they got us on the left side of the slavery side. So I wanted to just mention that I talked about the ego quite a bit, and I wanted to make that distinction because the eagle has like a double implication of meaning, because one, we're supposed to be like eagles because the eagle by its nature flies higher than any other bird, and then it sees farther than any other bird. So in that regard, we want to be like eagles. We have to fly higher than everybody else. We have to take off and just not come back down, and but yet the eagle also maybe not correctly, because as I talked about, the eagle looks like a vulture looks like an eagle from far away until the vulture gets close. Then you can tell it's not an eagle. So it's a deception. And so there's a hidden nature on the eagle when we see it with all the governments, from Babylon to Rome to America, right? And so because the eagle is being used as a symbol for war, it's a symbol for war. So if we were going to use a symbol for peace, what would we use other than a dove? So that's the bird that don't hurt anybody. The eagle is a predatory animal, and it will, it'll strike you dead if you're not looking behind you when it comes down and pounces on you. So that's the eagle, and it's a vulture in disguise. All right. And so I've got let's see, 2 more cards. I did the beast. Okay, got that one out of the way. And so looking here, oh, and don't forget, if you do call in, the phone is right here in front of me, 608-566-7295. I'll break what I'm doing right now. Anybody wants to call in with a comment, observation, question, complaint, situation you're going through, we're here to serve. All right. So you can call that number, 608-566-7295. And we ask people to be respectful and proper when they call in, because we'll probably get those other kind of calls too. But we're here, we care about what's going on. If you're dealing with the situation, maybe we can help you figure it out. That's what I did with the realpublicradio.net. When I had that for 6 years, we helped people that were fallen victim to the beast system and to government, and I always tried to help redirect them to another friend that could help, that was specific to that type of situation, or just help in my own way, the way I could, to listen, and that type of thing. So don't feel that you can't call, because this is I find it rather interesting with the a lot of the YouTube programs out there. When I was trying to break in on YouTube and needed help, it took me for a year. I couldn't figure out how to start a YouTube channel, and I kept writing to all these other people. I'm not going to name names, but all these other big names, and nobody would write me back. I'm saying, look, I'm a veteran broadcaster. I've got a message. I've figured some things out, and and sent them my resume, and not one, nobody would return my call. Nobody. For a year, I wanted to pull my hair out for not being able to figure out I'm stupid when it comes to technology. I can't be, we can't be expert at everything, and this was one of my Achilles heels. So I struggled, I tried, and and so I don't get it. People think they want to figure it out for themselves, right? Like they think they're going to figure it all out themselves, and you're not going to do it. It's not possible, because what has been shown to me over a lifetime, 50 years of study. Okay, started at age 14 hitting the books. That's 50 years ago, and but yet it was the Heavenly Father that led me down the trail. I'm connected. I have a trail of visions. I've had dreams and visions all my life. He saved my life through drama many times over. To show me, he was showing me his presence and his preparing me for this time that we're in, and we all need to be prepared for this time that we're in. But when I'm offering everything that I've ever had, put it on the table for these other so-called researchers or younger people that are coming up, the younger crowd now, they're getting into their 30s and their 40s, and I'm out to pasture. They don't want to talk to me. I'm out to pasture. I can't get an interview. I'm not complaining. I'm just stating a fact. That's all. I'm just stating a fact. Ninja wanted to hear me, so she's the only one at one point, other than a couple friends, Lynn and Shelly and a few others, and they're coming back in. Anna was one of them. We have a lot of new friends here now today, but ramping back up. But yet people think they're going to figure it out. They're watching all these other things, and especially the political. They're spending all their time watching a cartoon. As I said, now in this series, and hopefully we're at the end of it now today. I'm going to finish the read of the final hours of Yahshuah, and then we're going to go back to the Cosmic Channel, the Cosmic Essence Channel, and we're going to do a mini series there. And then we'll come back over here, and we're going back and forth, to cover our bases. And but this whole charade that is a prop. It's funded by the Federal Reserve, who are the holders in the bankruptcy. And all they told the politicians in secret session after they were elected in as congressmen or senators, okay, well, this is the way it really is, boys. Okay, get ready, because you're going to do what we tell you to do, or you're out of here. And there was a couple congressmen or senators that were like buddies, and they, tried to expose what was going on. They went on Chuck Carter's radio program. They got booted out. Several people got prison time. They went to prison, got beaten up, or dead, because they found out the truth. The truth is, it's all a front, a charade, and that includes all the governments. How many people, they just don't know that Angela Merkel is the daughter of Adolf Hitler, and Hillary Clinton's half sister of Merkel, a daughter of Hitler as well. And can't you see it? Can't you see it? They get away with murder and mayhem on the highest levels. They've got over 100 bodies, Bill and Hillary Clinton, that followed him. Over 100. I've been watching it since the mid-1990s. What a world. And then people still think it's legitimate, and they're still voting for an illusion, for a lie. When will we wake up? But they're going to figure it out. No, they're going to figure it out when they're in a gulag. That's when they're going to figure it out. Okay, and so here's another trick they play. And then I'm going to get on Anna's, because I think I got one more card here. Let's see, another good one. All right. Well, let me do that one first, because it's representatives. And I was reading in my Webster's today, looking up a word, and I found out that Webster 1828, that's 100 years ago. 200 years ago, late Middle English. Representative means, get ready, a religious leader. A religious leader. Okay? So it's the religion of DC. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what everybody's following. They're following the religion of DC, the right wing, the left wing, the double-headed eagle, and the vulture in the middle. The religion of DC. So Wow. Yeah, it's a religious cult ritual, or it is a religion of Freemasonry. Maybe that's what it means, right? As representative, the democracy, code word for communism, democracy, 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 communism, communism, communism. Those smart Alex down at 30 years old and 40 aren't pointing these things out that you're getting right here. You know, it really takes somebody that's gone down the rabbit hole and been there and has been taken down multiple times. Lost my house on a lake, lost my freedom, put in on a concrete slab, 2 trials. Heavenly Father wouldn't let him have me. 3 death threats when I got to prison. I'd be dead. When I found out it was run by the Klan and Freemasons, I knew I'd be dead. It was in the mind control state of West Virginia. And so, you know, yeah, when you pay your dues, you actually do, you can know something. But the novices, they're out there, you know, wanting to get their thumbs up and counted and their, you know, their numbers up. And then when they get bit, you know, they're going to learn. They're really going to learn. They're really going to learn. But I'm just here to serve. That's all I'm here for. You know, I just, I'll get more persecution. You know, I'm already being surrounded by those criminals right now here locally, and don't go out other than to go to the store, you know, basically. And that's it, because I know the liability. I've had 5 attempts on my life with automobiles. The first time it was 3 of them. The second one, because it was a low sports car, low to the ground, that was a great thing, because I rolled over the entire automobile, hit the mirror, hurt my hip, but landed in a ditch, and then they drove away. First one created a diversion, second one hit me, and the other one was there for backup, and so and that was the only time I got hit, because after that I looked where I was going. But I have now had 5 attempts with automobiles, but because I was, after the first time, I got smart. I look where I'm going and I watch the road, and so they couldn't do it. In fact, one more attempt in West Virginia while I was there, and they called all their flunkies because I walked to the town of I walked to the town of Wellsburg, the well on the mountain, and which is the sheriff's department headquarters, you know, which is the criminal cartel that tried to committed a situation that resulted in somebody's death. And then they framed me for it, and when I was walking back, they'd already called their special secret service and said, okay, he's out there, he's walking back to Bethany now, so go get him. And so I was sitting on a guardrail, you know, resting, and then I saw 2 of them pull up at the intersection, and they just sat there with their lights on and just holding the steering wheel and looking straight ahead. You know, I mean, there was no other traffic coming, so all I had to do was turn right or left, but instead they just stood there with their cars running at the you know, the point where they can turn onto my main road where I was hitchhiking going back to Bethany. And so I sat down. I'm not walking, you know, I'm going to sit down and just watch them. And don't you know, a pickup truck pulls up and he says, hey, come on, get in. And it turned out to be one of the other flunkies that had been playing the game with the sheriff and the other criminal secret society Masons. And he decided to save my life. And he gave me a ride home because he got the call too. You know, he got the call too. I knew he was one of them. I had figured it out, you know, after a couple of times I met him. But this time he decided to be the good guy, and he gave me a ride. And so that's how people change, ladies and gentlemen. People can wake up. They're tired of being a scumbag and a sellout of their fellow man, and will actually then polish themselves up and do the right thing. And now we're getting the buffering again. But just put it in let's put it in there. Audio check, okay. Ninja, you're supposed to do that for me. Come on. Audio check. I'm getting some buffering. And so we're going to now go ahead. Oh, wait a minute. Did I have that other one? Oh, yeah, I had one more. Where is it? Getting cross-eyed here. All right. Now I got confused. I got thrown off with that. James Moffat. Got that. All right. Oh, here it is. I put it away before I gave it. It's good on that end. Thank you. Good deal. Okay, we'll keep rolling then. If anybody hears any buffering or anything, please put it in the chat. And Ninja's going to ask you for a heads up if it seems we're having any problems, because we got to. Most of the time, I've noticed when I do a review, when it seems like we're buffering, we're still going, we're still good. And so thank you, because you want to keep me rolling. I don't want to stall out just for nothing. You know, I'm trying to get some mileage out here. I used to have the record for more words per hour than any other radio host or guest. Dane Wigington's beating me up on that one now, you know, and I'm glad he is, because he's the best. I consider him the best on broadcast, and so, you know, you need to check out Dane Wigington and Deborah Travaris and these others. Ninja will put that up at the end of the break, on the next break, and don't forget, of course, join the dots as well. You know, we're grateful for the efforts. It's amazing the talent that people have, you know. Rasputin joined. Was that the guy that took care of the Romanov family as a religious fanatic or something like that? I can't. Rasputin is familiar, but I can't talk on that. Okay, so another thing is that Miranda warning they gave us here in America. You know, they say anything you say can and will be used against you. Anything. Whoa. Well, I guess I better not talk. Thank you for that audio check, Sheminada. So anything you say can and will, what part of can and will be used against you don't we get, right? So literally what that means is actually everything you say can and will be used against you. So why would you talk to a group like that already told you that anything you say can and will be used against you? Put two and two together. It's an occult ritual. Ladies and gentlemen. And they put you under the chilling effect, which means they throw you in the ice water and let you sit there until you say, all right, get me out of the water. I'll do whatever you want, you know, and all those lights flashing, you know, I mean, that's kind of the chilling effect, you know. So I want to go back to Anna's questioning real quick and try to help her out on her journey as well. First of all, I figured out what James is, Anna. She's like 4 or 5 in the Morgan over there, so she can't be live with us, but she'll be listening to the replay. So she said, who is James? And I couldn't remember what she was talking about. And it was about who I was referring to, that other Bible version out of the 1920s, circa 1922, by James Moffat. James Moffat, it's called the Bible. It's Old Covenant, Stone Covenant, New Covenant, Everlasting Covenant, and in there, in the 4 of the books of Moses, one of the books, I think it's Numbers, doesn't. I'd have to go back and look now, but one of the 5 books doesn't have the Yahwistic text in it, but the other 4 do, and it may even go into Joshua a little bit as well. But the Yahwistic text is a text all by itself, and it was spliced throughout the entire 5 books, basically, of what we call the 5 books of Moses. Although he never wrote it, okay, because he didn't write the J text. That's what the Yahwistic text is falsely called by the Jews, the J text, because they love that hook. They love the J, but it's the Yahwistic text. It's got the sacred name in there. And so what James Moffat did, he got the copy from the British Museum. And so when he did his version of the 5 books of Moses, he then put the Yahwistic text in italics, so you can actually see where it is in your scriptures. And so that's one of the most important things he ever did with this translation. It's good. It's a free-flowing translation, but it's not as good as Farrar Fenton. You know, Farrar Fenton is #1 for our modern time until we can get the original thought out there, because that's going to surpass all the others. What we're bringing on here with the meaning of words as we're doing it and showing you. Okay, so I hope that helped you out. Answer your question on that. I'm sorry that I was slow, Anna. If you would have said, who was that other guy who wrote the Bible, then I would have got it. But anyway, I reviewed it, and so okay. So now I wanted to elaborate a little more, because you said how. Okay, the question is how. Here's the key question, and I'm looking at my other. I'll follow up with that, and Yahweh is found in the wall. Okay, a footnote, because you talked about the oldest copy based on what that other individual said was going back maybe 800 years for the sacred, what we call the sacred name, or what is mispronounced as Yahweh, which I say is a tetragrammaton, means three, and the three is the YHV, not YHWH or YHVH, but YHV. They created double vision because that's how they play the game. They either add or subtract letters, and they switch letters out. All those games are played on us. That way we can never get back home. You know, they just smashed everything, and so we have to be able to reconstruct, and that's not an easy thing to do when we're not scholars. You know, and so and I was never smart enough to figure all this stuff out. Yahshuah is my tree of knowledge, and he's your tree of knowledge. He will reveal anything to you if you ask him. Get on your knees, ask him, and dedicate your life towards him. All right. So Yahweh was actually found on the walls of turquoise mines, Anna, in Medzar, falsely called Egypt, dating back to the time before the Exodus. Okay, so whereas this other individual was claiming only goes back 800 years, well, I know for a fact because I saw it on the walls through the documentary in the turquoise mines, and it was saying something like, Yahweh, help me, save me, on the walls. Somebody perpetually a slave in the mines prior to the Exodus, when the people of Yahweh were enslaved by Medzar. Okay, so that's a footnote there. And so I wanted to just kind of give a better picture of what's going on, because you were thinking that the sacred name was wrong, and that strictly Elohim was the only title to recognize. And so there's see, whereas we got handed one word, God, and then we think it refers to one aspect in nature. It's not like that. We have to go back to what is in the Old Covenant, in the Yahwistic text, because there it's Lord God in the modern corrupted English on the hook, Lord God. But Lord wasn't never there. God wasn't never there. So we have to go back to these original terms and to see what they mean. And so I'll type it in there for the benefit of our new friends, and then we'll I have a couple clips to read that are short, and will help put things in perspective. Okay, so oh, wait a minute, you had a question up there, Rhett, and I forgot, didn't I? I totally bypassed it. Where is it? Let me see here. Don't forget, you can put your question back in if I go past it. Now I'm looking and I can't find it. Oh, here it is. What is your take on ghosts that haunt its original place of death? Well, you know, I don't give much energy to things that are not easily explained within nature. And so therefore, you know, I have a saying, phenomena happens. It's happening right now with the buffering thing again. Phenomena happens. Okay, phenomena does happen. And you know, it's like electricity. Electricity happens. Weather happens. A lot of things happen in nature. In fact, now that the sun has been bursting, probably because of the binary twin that's in the solar system out near Saturn or Uranus, and the ozone layer. And so there's actually animals that are morphing right now. And part of it is also going through the flat line of the galaxy every 5,500 years, which was pointed out by Brett Miller Sr. very well in his Horizon Project. And he interviewed some key physicists as well. And so we passed the flat line apparently during this 2012, not end of the world, but end of an age Mayan calendar, telling us we're going into something. And so that's happening, which, and whenever that happens every 5,500 years, new species are formed. And that's actually been proven. People on YouTube have shown new forms of insects, other forms of life creations that have not been seen before. So there's a lot of stuff going on. But I've had supernatural experiences that I don't say specifically related to my Heavenly Father and Yahshuah when I was little. And it was on a day when me and my buddies were talking about family members that had passed away and supernatural. And when I went home, I had a supernatural experience without getting into it. But in fact, I was so spooked, I ran out the front door and didn't close it behind me. I had to run back just to close the door. And, and, and so, I didn't forget that. I know it was a real experience, but phenomena happens. And so what I care about is what the scriptures say about life, about who I am, and about who the Father is. In fact, that was the next question I had written here. How does the invisible introduce himself to his material lower creation? How does the invisible spirit, right, introduce himself to all of us? How? He does it through phenomena and through nature. So we were warned about delving into familiar spirits, and what familiar spirits is, it's a corruption of familia, spirits, family, talking about our family coming back, and it looked like we got a little buffering going on. Let me know when it's good. Okay, if our audio's good, then please give me a heads up. We're down to 4 people also. That's not normal. So I hopefully all people have been being dropped in the past too. Good, 10. Thank you, Lynn. So so just like I don't give a lot of energy to Washington D.C., I don't give a lot of energy to watching the sky all the time. The phenomena that's going on. I know it's there. I observe it, but I focus on what's important. And what is important is knowing who we are, where we are, why we are, and when we are, and who we're going to serve. Those are the only things. Because to get caught up in the odyssey of the planet Earth, when we're not of this world and we're told to be a separate people, it just means that we're open to diversions. So the things that I can't explain, I just leave them there. I don't get caught up in it. It's not important. To explain, phenomena happens, and if we're meant to know something and to see something, we will. Otherwise, just let it go, because things are happening every day we can't explain, right? But we don't then want to dedicate all our free time to it because there's other important things we've got to do. So I hope that helped you out a little bit, Rhett. Okay. Anybody that has let me give one more example. The death experience where they go back and the people die, their heart stopped beating on the operating table, or they had a death experience. Okay, Shermanator. When people have what they call a death experience, they come back and they say, they saw this, they were in heaven, and and their family hugged them and everything else. That's their personal experience, and therefore I can't say that really did happen, or that they simply dreamed in the state they were in. It's impossible to know. So I don't make doctrine about these type of things, because they're the unexplainable, and only the individual can speak on those things that they experienced. So it's not necessary, just like to form doctrine about them, just like the people with the angels. They don't even know the meaning of the word, and yet they're writing books about angels. And then or they're going to pray for you and say, we're going to pray that there's 100 angels surrounding you tonight. 100 of what? 100 invisible creatures with wings on their back? They don't exist. We're told not to make pictures as a primary prerequisite to the truth, and that these images we see in the Vatican and Babylon and other places around the world, those are their family members. They put wings on their back because it means that they transcended as spirits. You see? But the word angel was never in our scriptures. So you might as well go read some occult book or something, because we have to get back to the words that they stole from us. And then we can define what Malak really means. Malak meaning mother's tongue, but the Malak is also royal messenger, literally mother's tongue, but it implies the royal messenger. Okay, so there's so much depth into the science. We're dealing with the science here, and people want to be scientists without even hitting the books. and putting in the legwork and the time and the dedication and the sacrifice that is required to become, proficient in knowing about something, So, okay, I guess you're talking to, I don't know who you're talking to, Lynn, but thank you for that. And was just interested on your thought, Rhett saying here, and I have a spitting ghost image captured of my mom's widowed husband. It was captured off my brother's prom night. On my brother's prom night, house was very haunted, and still is. Yeah. So it's just something that I cannot. In other words, I just leave it there. If it happens, I don't get. The actions of mankind right now is more haunting to me than anything else. What man is about to do to his fellow man, with the rounding up and the mass genocide program that we're in. So I think to be focused on those things is great. I know this is just a general question, and that's great. But like I say, I've learned how not to give my energy to certain things and to stay focused on other things that are certainly more important, because the sovereign of the universe, he's the one who protects us and defends us, and we need to be tight with him more than anything else, and anything else that needs to be known will be known, and he gives us clarity. Clarity is what we need in this confused world. So Anna, I want to just refer everybody to a book. It's called I Am Yahweh. Okay, so they're using the corrupt spelling, but that's all right. Yahweh. I Am Yahweh. And it's comes out of Germany. That's the English version. And the author is Zimmerli. Okay. And the publisher is John Knox Press. So, and I think it goes back to the 1930s. I think the copyright, where's that copyright in here? Right around the 1930s. Come on, look in. Oh, 1907. So this is over 100 years old now. And the book is called I Am Yahweh. Okay. So let's delve into it, because the question is, how does the invisible introduce himself to his material lower creation? Oh, and I was about to type something. In fact, where are we at here? 65 minutes. All right, Ninja, tell you what, let's do a break. I want to pace myself, so let's do a break, 5 or 7 minute break, and then I'll go into this short presentation. Then I'm going to have, if we have any questions, that you want to call in, I'll take it. Otherwise, then we're going to go to our read, and I'm going to knock it out. I'm going to knock it out tonight. I'm going to knock it out. I know it. So, yeah, I know I get long-winded because I got a lot to say, ladies and gentlemen, a lot I want to put on the table for all of you. You're all here for a reason, and so I'm spilling the beans on all what they didn't want you to know, but we tell right here. Okay, so 5 or 7 minutes, break time to call a friend if you have any, and don't go away. We'll be right back.
Okay, helps if I unmute the audio. Welcome back to the Forbidden History series. This is Ask Dezert-Owl on the Forbidden History series. These channels are the ones that we recommend. They're very, very good. They're very, very good at what they do, and they cover pretty much everything. All the links are in the description. And also join the dots. Join the dots. You are an amazing channel. No wonder they censor you. Okay. This is a live call-in program. So we encourage callers, questions, or if you just want to give us an update, or if you're figuring something out. Thank you, Lingineer, for putting the phone number in the chat. It's 608-566-7295. And you can also call Skype. NinjaCat, one word, NinjaCat. Just look for the white circle with the purple NinjaCat with a sword on it. And you're welcome to put any questions or comments in the chat if you don't want to call in. Okay. Back to you, Desert.
Thank you, Ninja. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You did call your friends, right? Okay, thank you for that. And, here's the thing, because I hammered that a lot, is because what I've noticed is we have just X number of listeners. And I noticed after a couple days on the broadcast, all of a sudden, like 2 days, then it just, boom, stalls out. The numbers keep growing, then boom, it stalls. And the reason is because we don't get promotion. We don't get algorithm, none of those things with their tube. Okay, so we hope that our friends out there will tell other people, somehow find a way to share, if this information is important to you, to share with other friends, to give them a heads up, or post it. You can post it on your channel. This is even though we put the copyright at the end, we just that's to protect this work, but we want it actually to be posted on other channels. We just ask that our work not be manipulated or sliced or diced and fricasseed. Okay, just the way it is, we ask anyone to please repost it so that the word can get out. It's a revolution in thinking. It's a revolution in our world that is occurring by the secret societies. Albert Pike said they wage all revolutions, and they're coming to kill. And so, what information could be more important than to open our inner eye to see things in a way we've not seen them before, to comprehend more clearly and specifically the message that Yahshuah brought to planet Earth 2,000 years ago, and to be able to better interpret the words that they corrupted, and to interpret the scriptures, to know the tricks, to know the game that they played on us, because since they're not going back, they didn't want us to go back, And so, Rhett, what's not censored? I don't get that. I've had every game in the book played on me for ever since I've been doing this. There's nothing I've tried to do where somebody didn't come around, or I came up with the saying at one point. I don't have to screw any. I don't have to worry about screwing anything up, because somebody will come along and do it for me. And that's the way it's always been. The double troubles are everywhere. So, but I don't know. You may want to clarify that. I don't know what you mean on that. But anyway, I'm in the book now. I am Yahweh, and the question is, how does the invisible introduce himself to his material lower creation? And this was specifically for Anna in Finland, and Shermanator. Thank you so much for sharing that on Twitter. I don't even have time to tweet. I've never been on Twitter. I've never been on Facebook. I just, this work, translation project is so big, I can't use one more diversion, you know, because it would just be a liability for this work. So I don't watch television. I do watch documentaries, but I don't watch the mainstream Jews, you know, the news, and because I don't need to be propagandized. I know what's really going on, and nothing on the news is anything we want to know about. It's what they don't tell you on the news that you want to hear, and that's what you're not going to get from them. It's all diversion, all smoke and mirrors. It's a great con job on the planet. So the knowledge of God out of this book. This was, in other words, he's done a series of articles apparently, and this one is 1954. So he'd been doing these articles for some time, starting in 1907, and so now we're in 54, 2 years before I was born. And the first letter to Timothy says that Yahweh dwells in the unapproachable light. Okay, the unapproachable light. Well, what light do you know out there is unapproachable? Ninja, you want to hazard a guess? What light is unapproachable out there?
Sorry, it was on mute. What light is unapproachable?
Yeah, well, there's only really one light, right?
So that's a trick question.
No, it's not a trick question. What light out there is what light can't you look at?
The sun.
Thank you very much. You can mute out again.
Okay.
Okay. The sun. Okay, that's the unapproachable light. It's a symbol. It's a logo. Okay, it's not the absolute light. It is a lower light come down from a greater light. You see, everything's in progression. So the first letter to Timothy says that the Yahweh dwells in the unapproachable light. And so I'm going to jump down now, and it says it here again. What are we able to know of the mystery of the one who dwells in the unapproachable light? He dwells in the unapproachable light. That's where he breathed. It said that the darkness was upon the face of the cosmos, the deep. It said deep, but it means in the blackness of space. And the breath, the spirit moved upon the cosmic waters, and then breathed into into an orb, and a star to be born, and boom, spontaneous generation. The light became, and there is light. Not was, is light, still is. Not was light, still is. See, they changed all those words, occultic. So how does the invisible introduce himself? Well, as I've read this book, it took me a few years to read it actually, because it's very deep. This individual is really deep writer, and he went on this one theme, and it's about the revealed one, and how does he do it? And so, and I was going to type in the word Lord God versus the correct terminology. Okay, so let me do that real quick. So you're looking at that, Lord, because see, this is a specific terminology, Lord God. And let me do the typing. Let me do the typing here because I don't want to mix this up. Okay, Lord God is YHV. Okay, I'll try that again. Lord God, no typing right now. Okay, if we can hold back. All right, is okay. I'd say, and I'll get it once I get it. We got it. All right, so. Okay, there's the difference. This is what Lord God is covering, and Zulafhaim is in the corruption, and Yahweh is. Okay, so you can see how it goes back. Now take note of the words in India. Take notes of the words in Germany, and don't they use big words? They use big words because the words are it's a word is like a sentence. It's like a sentence because there's so much being said right there. But Lord God in the original Indo-Germanic would be the Yahweh I should have done it like this. Let me copy that. Let me try it again. Okay. I left something out because that's what the revealed. This is what's revealed. Okay, it's coming up next. Don't type. Let me work here. I bet they'll censor this out. Okay. Okay, the Yahweh who is the great Zol of Haim. Now let's go right back to Yahshuah on the night of the last shofar, the last sound, the last supper. And one of the followers goes over to him. He says, Healer and Sunrise, show us the Father and we'll be happy. Just show him to us. That's all we ask. And then he turns and he looks at him. I think it was Philip. And he says, how long have I been with you? And still you do not know me? You see? And it's the same principle. The Son is regarded as the Zul of Haim, which has been corrupted out of Babylon. Oh, no. We're off the air? We're off the air.
No, we're
not.
There,
Ninja?
No, we're not. No, we're not. We're coming
back. Mine went off the air.
Yeah, you got kicked off. That's been happening to all of us.
Okay, so I just refresh? Is that all I do?
Yeah, it should be good. It's not over yet, does it?
Oh, wonderful.
Okay.
Wonderful. I'm back. Thank you. Okay. So I can keep rolling?
Yes, it's still buffering. It's still trying to stop us, but keep going until we can't go anymore. Yeah?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so we're back at it. And thank you, Lynn, for that, and Kev. All right, so try to get the picture. I did refresh. That's how I got back on. They kicked me off. They didn't like my presentation, I guess. So, all right, so get kicked off your own program. That's pretty good. All right, yep. So getting back to it, let me copy this and put it back because I got to look at it. Try to hold back, for the moment while I'm doing this. Control copy, Control paste, Control V. Control V, right? V, that they put on the military. All the military wear the V. The tank, the Bradley tank has the V on the side. Control V. You see, the V is important. That YHV, right? That YHV. That's the Lucy symbol because it's the lower world. The Y. Let me talk about the symbols real quick because it's about the revealed. What is revealed? How does the invisible introduce himself to his material lower creation? So the Y equals the yellow, Yal, sun. The H is the bridge, earth. Okay. I'm trying to. Okay, thank you. You're doing an audio check here. Thank you, Lynn. And then the V equals. But the V also has a double. You see, because look at the V, it has two lines, and they come together. And so one is the right paradigm, one is the left paradigm. One is the sun, one is the moon. So it has a double nature because it also represents the virgin light. So that's why they say the moon has a double nature because it represents a virgin while at the same time it represents the whoredom of the occultic world. They love the moon. So you see the YHV, these two letters describe what doesn't want to come good, Ninja? The program?
Yeah, it's kind of started to come back a bit.
Audio check.
It was threatening to end the stream, so.
Okay, thumbs up. Thank you, Join. Okay, so we're still good.
Okay.
So I revealed now in there, but let's take it further. Okay, YHV. Let's show another aspect of that because it's not one thing. And so the Y equals the electron the H equals the neutron, and the V equals the proton. So the well, okay. I can't do my work here if we're gonna throw everything in. Let me just put this together because I can't even look at it and make sense of what I'm doing here now. Electron, neutron. Okay, let me pull it together down below. Okay, control copy. Thank you for the audio check. And I didn't get part of it now. I didn't get the electron. All right, control copy. And then the H in the other one. Okay. I got one more I'm going to do at least, so hang on there. Control V. V for victory. V for vendetta. Neutron. And how do you spell neutron? N-U-T. N-E-U? N-E-U? Is it E? N-E-U?
Yes, N-E-U-T-R-O-N.
No, not quite. Let me see. Okay. All right. So we see that what sun, earth, and moon are representing in the macrocosm, the macrocosm is representing the microcosm. As I said, the sun is the garden of atoms, A-T-O-M, and it's incorrectly called Eden. It is the light. It is the center of the spirit. It is the center of all creation. It is another realm. Remember, if you're spirit, can you define your spirit for me? Of course not. You only know that it's there. And so and the spirit breathed into the sun. And so it is the spirit that is creating, but in order for us to see the spirit, we see the sun. And the sun is a sun. S-U-N is S-O-N. It is the Yahweh. And Yahshuah. Yahshuah is the sun. He is the atom. He is everything. And so he is the manifestation of the Father, of the Spirit. There's no way we can see the Father other than through the manifestations because he is Spirit. And so Yahshuah becomes the active agent in that. And so let's look at it one more time. We've got Y equals gram and also grain. What's going on here? I was typing. Jeez. I was doing things to my computer. Try this again. Y equals gram, which is also grain. And H equals tetra. And then V equals ATOM. Okay, so these are, and so the V again represents both the light and the darkness, because it's clear that two columns come to a point on Earth where everything happens. The bridge is the H, and that's the Earth. The Y represents the yellow, and that therefore represents the sun. There are other symbols that represent other things in other ways, but I'm showing you the variables. There's like 3 ways to interpret YHV, and that's how you can know that the symbol is correct. That's how you can know. But when they put the W in, that's just a double V. Okay, so Elohim or Zulafhaim is revealed when you see the light. And so now let me go back to the book, because I just wanted to, that was in a card I wrote down today, and I just wanted to show that part of it. And so now let me see what else I can read here. And because he's trying to reveal himself as spirit. And so the more we recognize the nature of the spirit, which is ultimately all power and perfection. And so that's why Yahshuah said at the end of his dissertation on the mountain, he says, "Be ye there for this reason, you must be perfect, because your great Father who rules from the throne in the Son is perfect." Okay, so I'm looking at my notes here. What is the origin of this dominate formula in the book of Ezekiel, one that is so often repeated, variously altered? and expanded into so many different directions. So I have my note up here. I am the Yahweh, who is also the great Elohim, and that's basically what Lord God is saying. Every time you see Lord God, it is I am the Yahweh, who is the great Zulafhaim. Okay, the great Zulafhaim, and so the connection is made with something that you can see, for a reference to the Spirit. Okay, so I'm flipping a page. I just found a few key places to help on the discussion. I was looking for something specific, and I'm not quite finding it. So I'm just gonna do what I can do here to help you get the picture. So for Ask Now of the days that are past, did any people ever hear the voice of the Yahweh speaking out of the midst of the fire? Right? Did any people ever hear the voice of the Yahweh speaking out of the midst of the fire? Yeah. When we saw it in the scriptures, when Yahshuah, when those Greeks, it was actually Arameans, but they're called Greeks in the corrupted version, wanted to meet Yahshuah. I think it was in the Gospel of John, and so Philip goes and gets Yahshuah, and he comes back, and while he's coming back, he was um, bent over in his struggle, and he says, Father, glorify your Son, for your Son is glorifying you, or something like that. And then all of a sudden, from the sky came the voice that says, I have both glorified it and I will glorify it again. And the people said, some only heard thunder, but others heard the voice. You see, and that came down from the light. And the same when he came up out of the water, when he was out of a tasered or baptized, the voice came from the window in the sky, parted, the light beam of light came down, shone directly on him in the water, and a voice came saying, this is my only loved seed, in whom I am well pleased, my only loved seed. You see, only loved. So we have to be in him to be loved, to be only loved. That's the seed of the pure one. And so whenever the revelation is occurring, it's always with action as well. There's something that happens to reveal not only the passive nature, but his power, the power of Yahweh at the same time. So here it says, or has any did any people ever hear the voice of the Yahweh speaking out of the middle of the fire? Or has any deity ever attempted to go and take a nation for himself from the middle of another nation by trial, by signs, by wonders, and by war? By a mighty hand and an outstretched arm, and by great terrifying events, according to all that the Yahweh, who is your great Zulafhaim, did for you in the land of Medzar before your own eyes? To you it was shown that you might know that the Yahweh is the great Zulafhaim. There is no other beside him. That when he says no other, he means no other spirits other than those who are, like us, that were saved. But he means boogeymen, demons, devils, Satan, Lucy, all of those things that have been misconstrued and created by man. You see, there is no one troubling him, no one getting in his face. And he and Yahshuah, the Son and the Father are one. And a son, S-O-N, is a son, S-U-N. And that's why they've demonized the nature of the Son. What do you have at the very center of your heart? It is called the solar plexus. The solar. Your mind represents, it's the soul, not the bottom of your feet. That's where they stuck it. So you'd be walking on your soul. But the soul is at the other end of your body, in your upper, part of your body. It's an invisible aspect of your nature. But your Son, your head, represents a star. Right, it's the thinking process up there. It's where all things emanate in ideas. And action comes from. You see, the lower body represents the earth, the upper body represents the sun. The soul, S-O-L, S-O-U-L, solar, R for power, the soul power. What people do, right? What people do when they think or when they get stupid. So let's continue here a little bit more. But I'm giving you stuff that I've never heard anybody talk about these terms, ladies and gentlemen, because even though this gentleman here is doing a good job, I was able to draw on it. That I rely on my experts, to take me further as my spirit Yahshuah is guiding me. So the recognition of Yahweh will simultaneously be recognized. Be recognition of Elial, or Elijah, Yahweh's emissary. And then it goes into more stuff here. Elial means the enlightenment that goes round. So there's another way to read this in the sense of the meaning of the word. The recognition of the Yahweh will simultaneously be recognized by the enlightenment that goes round, Yahweh's emissary. Okay, it's a recognition event when we're hearing these terms and we're making the connection with the symbol where the light bulb turns on. Thank you. And then the great Elohim, you true Yahweh are the great Zulafhaim alone. The great Zulafhaim alone. Remember, we're in a lower creation, that one who creates cannot create something greater than himself. He can only create something lower than himself. And so when you so that's why the man represents the spirit, and the woman, she represents creation, and so therefore the woman is smaller than the man because it's a step down. Not in and I'm reading the note here. Okay, 1 minute delay from you. Speak till we hear you, Desert. When you ask for audio check, I don't hear you for 1 minute. Right. Okay, I got that. We're just doing the best we can here, as long as the stream is going through. All right. So we're down. Okay. So I think is there one more here? Let me look. The book of Ezekiel concludes in chapter 40 and 48 with a powerful vision in which the prophet has shown the new temple of the future. That's us. We're the temple that was to be in the future. He sees the entrance of Yahweh's majesty in this new sanctuary. That's the spirit coming to have a marriage with us, and the life-giving river that will flow out from the promised land geography. Okay, I'm going to just end it right there on that particular work. And I do get long-winded, and I don't know how to hold back. I got to tell you, I'm just not the way I used to be, but that's okay. I see we're I'll tell you what, Ninja, we'll take one more break, our second break. That way I can recharge my voice, and I'll start doing a read now on the final hours of Yahshuah. Okay, I just I want to always try to cover bases for those who are asking questions, and I don't want to leave anyone behind on that. Okay, so I know I probably went longer than I should have, but it's a big wick and a big candle that we have to burn. So, alrighty. So everybody, thank you for being here with us. And I know some people have to go, but we'll start a read as soon as we get back. You're tuned in right here to Ask Dezert-Owl on the Forbidden History series. What they didn't want you to know that we tell right here. Still time to call your friends. We'll be right back.
Okay, welcome back to the Forbidden History series. This is Ask Dezert-Owl on the Forbidden History series. If you're new to the program, we are live streaming on this channel and also the Cosmic Essence, which is our other channel in the chat. That's me talking through the Cosmic Essence in the chat. I'm NinjaCat. And we also have two other channels, Desert's old channels, the Forbidden History series and Forbidden History archives. All links are in the description, so please subscribe. There is a wealth of information on them. Also, this is a live call-in program. Thank you, Leon, again for putting the info in the chat. So please call in. If you have a question, you're welcome. If you just want to have a chat, you can also Skype NinjaCat, that's one word, the white circle with the purple cat with the sword. Any first-time caller will get a free copy of the Handbook of Christianity, one of Desert's transliterations. It's a beautiful little book. And he also has quite a collection on Amazon now. 24 books are available for you on Amazon. You can get online versions or you can order hard copies. We are working on getting the books up on other platforms as well. All the links are in the description, so please check it out. They are priced really well. It's a really reasonable price, but we do know, we are aware that everybody is going through tough times. So if you can't manage to buy the books online, just give Desert a call and we'll figure something out. We have PDFs as well that we can get to you. So yeah, we just need to share the information. So back to the program. We have a read coming up, a beautiful read. So back to you, Desert.
Right, and that's on PDF for any size donation, ladies and gentlemen. Just contact us on the site. You have my number, 608-566-7295. If you, we can send it to you anywhere in the world by email on PDF. And if you don't have the funny money, then we'll be glad to get you a copy of whatever book you're interested in particular. Okay, so and those who can afford, we thank you for your support. This of Prison Ministry, we are all doing time, and so it's a benevolent work to help wake other people up, to help them on their journey. That's what this is all about. So, okay, so we're in the last segment now, and I'm going to read. I know I'm not going to get this whole 7 chapters knocked out here, so I'll try to get half of them, at least 3, and then tomorrow night will be the follow-up, because I don't have a lot of questions other than that I went through here tonight, so I didn't see a lot of questions there. And you are welcome to call in during this remaining part of our program if you want to call in, just to say hi, just to give us a heads up. That's okay. We're user-friendly. And we'd love to hear from anyone that wants to share, or if you have an experience you need to share, you just for whatever reason, or an observation. People are in different parts of the country, they're in different parts of the world, and they're seeing stuff, and they want to share. If that's the case, things are going down. They were in very difficult times, and we're trying to be here to help our friends out. Okay, so we're in chapter 30 of the final hours of the Messiah's untold story. And so let's do it here. So we just saw where he met his buddies on the road, and he was made known to them where they broke bread. And so so this is following that episode now. The evening end of the resurrection day had come. The 10 Melekealim were in Shimon's house in Bethany, but the lawyer Toma was not there. The doors were closed and barred because the Judean priests breathed that they would drive the Galileans from the land. And as they walked, true Yahshuah came and stood in the center of all of them and breathes, a shalom, peace, a shalom, peace. And the truth seekers stood back in fear as they thought it was a phantom that they saw. And Yahshuah breathes, why are you troubled in this way? Why are you afraid? I am no form of phantom. I am your healer in sunrise, and I have risen from the death. I often breathed, I will return, but you could not follow me. So now come here and see for yourselves. A phantom does not have flesh and bones and muscle like I possess. Come now and hold my hands and touch my feet and lay your hands upon my head. And everyone came up and clasped his hands and touched his feet and laid his hands upon his head. And Yahshuah breathes. And then they brought out a fragment of a fish, and he ate it in the presence of them all. And then the 10 were all Nathanael breathed. So now we know that he has risen from the. He now stands as a surety for the resurrection of the dead. And then Yahshuah suddenly disappeared. Now, Miriam, Martha, Ruth, and Lazar, which would be correctly Lazarus, were in their home, and they had heard the rumor that their healer in sunrise had risen from the dead. And Martha breathed, it cannot be, for such a thing has never happened since the world began. But Miriam breathed, did not the healer in sunrise bring back our brother from the dead? Then surely he could bring himself back to life again. And as they talked, the healer in sunrise stood in the middle of them all and breathes, everyone rise and be healed by the light, since I am risen from the death, the first fruitage from the grave. And Martha ran and brought the chair in which the healer in sunrise had always loved to sit on, and Yahshuah sat down on the chair. And for a long, long time they talked about the trial, about the dramatic events that all took place on the Calvary Road and at the Garden of Eshaluim, Salom. And Yahshuah breathes, never be in fear, for I will be your bountiful and special companion all the way through your entire life. And then he disappears. And see how that conflicts with those people who are saying, we know he's coming back. Yeah, well, he's coming back someday, we know, And then everyone at the beginning must have been a fool then, because they all said that he comes back, and he comes back as spirit. And that's what he's saying here in verse 19, 30, chapter 30. Yahshuah breathes, never be in fear, never be in fear. For I will be your bountiful and special companion all the way through your entire life. And then he disappeared. Or what did he say when he was taken up before 100 people? Behold, I am with you always. You must see and read it for yourself. I am with you always, even unto the end of the earth. All power has been given unto me on earth and in the cosmos. All power. You see, he's here. He's not coming back. You can't have it both ways. If he's coming back, he's not here. He's always been here. People don't get it. They've done a real hatchet job on our tradition, ladies and gentlemen. Chapter 31. Now Ravana, the prince of India, gave a feast, and his palace in Orissa was the place where a Shan of the higher thought from all the farther east would often meet. Ravana was a prince with whom the younger Yahshuah went to India many years ago. The feast was made in honor of the wise Shan from the east. Among the guests were Mengste, Vijayapati, and Lama. The wise Shan sat about the table talking of the needs of India and of the world. The door into the banquet hall was in the east. A vacant chair was at the table on the east end. And as the wise Shan talked, a stranger entered in unannounced, and rising up his hands in benediction he breathes, everyone rise up in the flowing light. A halo rested on his head, and light, like the light of the sun, filled all the room. The wise Ashan rose up and bowed their heads as they breathed. Everyone rise up in the light. And Yahshuah sat down in the vacant chair. And then the wise Ashan knew it was the Hebrew star navigator who had come. And Yahshuah breathes, "You must see and read it for yourself, for I am risen from the death. Look at my hands, my feet, my side, where the Herodian soldiers pierced my hands and my feet with nails, and then one pierced my side. They put me in a tomb, and then I wrestled with the destroyer of Ashan. I conquered death. I stamped upon her and rose back up, brought immortality to light, and painted on the wall of time a rainbow of reflections for the seed of the moon. And what I have done, all Ashan must do. This star message of enlightenment, of the resurrection from the death, is not confined to Judean and Greek. It is the heritage of every Ashan, of every time and locale. And I am here as a demonstration of the power hidden within all Ashan. Hidden within all Ashan. Then he rose up and pressed the hand of every Ashan and of the royal host and breathes, "You must see and read it for yourself. I am not a vapor made of the blowing wind, for I am flesh and bone and muscle, but I can cross the borderland of matter at my will." And then they talked together there for a long, long time. Then Yahshuah breathes, "I go my way, but you will go into all the world and proclaim the star message of the omnipotence, the superior nature of Ashan, the power of the truth, the resurrection from death. He, the I, who trusts this star message of the enlightenment from the seed of the sun will never die. For those who pass on, they will yet remain alive, returning back to the light." Then Yahshuah disappeared, but he had shown the seed. The Ashavors of life were spoken in Orissa, and all of India heard. The Magian priests were in the silence in Persepolis. This is the Magi who came to see him. In the silence in Persepolis, and Caspar and the Magian mother stars, who were the first to greet the babe of promise in the shepherd's home in Bethlehem, were with the priests. And Yahshuah came and sat with them, while a crown of light was on his head. And then the silence ended. Caspar breathed, "A mother star, master, from the royal council of the silent brotherhood, a state is here. Let us all give praise and rise up in the creation." And all the priests and mother stars stood and breathed. Everyone rise up in the flowing light. "What message from the royal council do you bring?" And Yahshuah breathes, "My brothers of the silent brotherhood, shalom, a shalom, an eternal peace on earth, the perfect behavior now before all Ashan. The problem of the ages has been solved. A seed, a son of Ashan has risen up from this death, has shown that the earthly flesh can be transmuted into the cosmic flesh divine, Trevain. Before the eyes of Ashan, this flesh in which I come to you was changed with the speed of light from human flesh, and so I am the message that I bring to you. I am the message. For you I come, the first of all the race to be transmuted to the perfect image of the One. What I have done, all Ashan must do, and what I am, all Ashan must be. But Yahshuah breathes no more. In one short breath, he told the story of his mission to the seed of the moon, and then he disappeared. The Magi breathed. Some time ago, we read this promise, now fulfilled upon the dial plate, the zodiacal message in the stars. And then we saw this Ashan who has just demonstrated unto us the power of Ashan to rise up from the serpent flesh and blood to the estate of the Yahweh, starting from a veve, a baby in Bethlehem. And after many years, he came and sat with us in these same groves. He told the story of his earthly life, of trials, extreme testing trials and temptations, the physical attacks, and the many false accusations. He progressed along the thorny paths of life until he had risen and overthrown the strongest enemies of the Yahweh and Ashan. And he is now the only, a mother star master of the earthly race whose flesh has been transmuted into divine flesh. He is the Elohimic Ashan of today, but everyone of the earth must overcome and be like him, a seed of the sun. Chapter 32. One more chapter and we'll put it to rest for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. It was on the day of Shavat, and many of the priests and scribes and Pharishees were in the temple in Yerushalayim. KOBO, Anash, and some of the ruling Judean were there as well. A stranger came in, garment of fisher Ashan, a fisherman, and asked, "What has become of Yahshuah, who is called the Moeshiach, the Moeshianke? Is he not seed planting, teaching in the temple anymore?" The Judean replied, "That Ashan from Galilee was crucified a week ago because he was a dangerous Ashan, a self-serving, seditious Ashan." The stranger asked, "Where did you put the body of this Ashan from Galilee? Where is his tomb?" The Judean replied, "We do not know. His followers came at night and stole the body from the tomb in which it lay, carried it away, and then declared that he had risen from the dead." The stranger asked, "How do you know that his truth seekers stole the body from the tomb? Was anyone a witness of the theft?" The Judean replied, "We had 100 soldiers at the place, and every one of them declares that his truth seekers stole the body from the tomb." The strangers asked, "Will any one of all your 100 Ashan stand forward and breathe, 'I saw the body stolen from the tomb'?" The Judean replied, "We do not know. These Ashan are Ashan of truth. We cannot doubt their Ashavor." The stranger breathes, "You priests and scribes, shofars, and Pharishees, give me your ear. I was a witness of the facts. I was in the garden of Yahshuah, Salom, and stood among your 100 Ashan. And this I know, that not an Ashan among your 100 Ashan will breathe, 'I saw the body stolen from the tomb.' And I will aver before the Yahweh of the sun, earth, moon, and all of the stars, the body was not stolen from the tomb. The Ashan from Galilee has risen and come back from the death." And then the priests, the shofar scribes, and Pharishees all rushed up to seize the Ashan and throw him out. But instantly the fisher Ashan, the fisherman, became a radiant form of bright light, and the priests and the shofar scribes and Pharishees all fell back in deadly fear as they saw the Ashan from Galilee. And Yahshuah looked upon the frightened Ashan and breathes, "This is the body that you stoned beyond the city's gates and then crucified on the Calvary road. You must see and read it for yourself. My hands, my feet, my side, and see the wounds the Herodians soldiers made. If you think that I am some phantom made of air, come forward and touch me, because ghosts would not be made of flesh and blood. I came down to the earth to demonstrate the resurrection from the state of death, the transmutation of the flesh of serpent, Ashan, into the higher flesh of Travain, Ashan, divine man. Then Yahshuah breathes. Then Yahshuah raises his hands and he breathes. A shalom, peace be to every one of you. 4, not 2, but 4. They didn't have it. For every one of you, a perfect will for all Ashan kind. And then he disappeared. Now Thomas, had not seen the healer and sunrise since he had risen from the dead. And then the 10 averred that they had seen and talked with him, and he breathed, until I see the nail prints in his hands and feet, the spear wound in his side, and talked with him as I have talked with him before. I cannot have any reason to think that he is risen from the dead. At Shimon's house in Bethany, the Ashan from Galilee had met. It was the evening of the first day of the week, and on the morrow all would turn their faces towards their homes. The 11 Malachim were all there. The doors were closed and barred. And Yahshuah appeared and breathes, "A shalom, peace be upon all of you." And then he breathes to Thomas, "My friend, you do not think that I have risen from the death? The time has now come for you to know the truth. Come here and see the nail prints in my hands, the spear wound in my side, and talk with me as you have so often talked with me before." And Thomas walked over and saw, and then he cried out, "My mother's star, and my healer and my sunrise. I do not now suppose, I now know that you have risen from the dead." And Yahshuah breathes, "Because you see me, you follow? And so then, endowed and enlightened are your eyes. But then 3 times endowed and enlightened are they who have not seen me and yet can follow." And then Yahshuah vanished from out of their sight. But the truth seekers were all established in their victory of light. And victory of light is conviction and faith. And there you have the next part of our read, ladies and gentlemen. And are we timed out, Ninja? Because mine closed out.
We're still good. We're still good.
We're still good?
Yeah.
Okay, I refreshed. I got kicked out. They didn't like me again. I don't get it.
Yeah,
All right.
I had one listener at one stage during your read.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, anyway, we're good, and that's all right. Then it was still going, and so there you go, ladies and gentlemen. It's yeah, when they've perfected technology, now they're sabotaging technology. Our Skype has problems. We, even our scriptures had problems, and we're putting the fix in for that, thanks to the great breath of the wind and fire, the Holy Spirit, the great breath, that breathes because he loves us. His heart is beating, and he is revealing himself to us in the great mystery. And he's in full favor for us. He knows where we are right now at this time in our world, our history, and that psychopaths rule the world. They always have. At least once the Aryan got here and they decided to conquer and enslave. That's when the psychopathic behavior officially began. And so with that, I've got 4 more chapters I've got to do, and I'm going to bring it on tomorrow, okay, at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on Ask Desert Owl. What's the name of my program? Ask Desert Owl on the Forbidden History series. And so I hope you'll tell your friends. I hope you'll come back. I hope you'll get the materials that we make available so that you can go on your own journey, study the Indo-Germanic, realize the game that they played with us, getting us stuck in Hebrew and Greek when it was all about the Indo-Germanic and the pure breath. And you have to see the words. You can't just hear the words, but you have to see them in print and start comparing them with the other words, and look at my footnotes in the margins, because you'll begin to realize the code and how it has been smashed. And once we put the pieces back together based on the symbol, the root form, and we're going to talk about it, and Ninja's she and I need to practice using the drawing board, because that's where we're going to really be able to do some presentation on the alphabet, which comes next, okay, to help you on your journey. And so just don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to serve. You can contact me anytime on the side. And we're hoping you'll bring friends on to, after all, you wanted to hear, right? Okay, and let's do that. And thank you for all your comments and all your the emails we sometimes get. And yeah, we could use some donations to support. We're trying to raise funds right now for Ninja. She needs an air conditioner. She's in stifling heat. Doing the broadcast right now. It's mid-afternoon for her, and it's super hot in the small house that she has. And so we just need to raise $100 for her. That's the objective. So please give consideration. If everybody just pitched in $5 with our 50 or 60 or 70 listeners that we have, we'd have more than enough, and we could buy books with the rest and make them available to those who don't have. Okay, so that's what we're trying to do. We're giving back everything we have, and there's no funny money to be made here. You know, we're already provided for. It's just the extra that we want to do to help serve others. So thank you for your time and for joining us. And don't forget, I'm Desert Owl telling you, if you want to know the future, then you need to look for the Forbidden History, because it's all right here, coming your way 7 days a week on the realpublicradio.net, Free America Radio Network. It's Ask Desert Owl. Come on back tomorrow night, and we'll play it again. Samael. You know who that is. Well, we'll talk more about that next time. I'll see you.
Starry, starry night, paint your palette blue and gray. Look out on a summer's day with eyes that know the darkness in my soul. Shadows on the hills, sketch the trees and the daffodils, catch the breeze and the winter chills in colors on the snowy linen land. Now I understand what you tried to say to me, and how you suffered for your sanity, and how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they did not know how. Perhaps they'll listen now. Starry, starry night, flaming flowers that brightly blaze, swirling clouds in violet haze, reflect in Vincent's eyes of china blue, colors changing hue. Morning fields of amber grain, weathered faces lined in pain, are soothed beneath the artist's loving hand. Now I understand what you tried to say to me, and how you suffered for your sanity, and how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they did not know how. Perhaps they'll listen now, for they could not love you, but still your love was true. And when no hope was left inside on that starry, starry night, you took your life as lovers often do. But I could have told you, Vincent, this world was never meant for one as beautiful as you. Starry, starry night, portraits hung in empty halls, frameless heads on nameless walls, with eyes that watch the world and can't forget, like the strangers that you've met, the ragged men in ragged clothes, a silver thorn, a bloody rose, lie crushed and broken on the virgin snow. Now I think I know what you tried to say to me, and how you suffered for your sanity, and how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they're not listening still. Perhaps they never